Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Archbishop Robert Rivas says the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is in need of reform in order to be able to carry out their true duty to protect and serve. He says, on the other hand, the police need prayers, and they too need guidance and understanding. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
The reputation of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has seen its share of highs, but it has inarguably seen more lows according to the general consensus. One of the issues causing the force's reputation to dwindle is the matter of alleged police brutality, and with the recent global uprising against racial injustice and police brutality, the matter has been brought to the forefront in St. Lucia and has now been addressed by the island's Archbishop Robert Rivas. The Archbishop says the key words sticking out in the motto of the police are protect and serve, and so if that being the case, they should uphold that motto at all costs, no matter who they are dealing with.
Why could the police not enforce whatever it is they have to do under that umbrella that you are there to protect and serve? Therefore, you have to protect human life, and you have to respect every person, no matter how bad they may behave or what crime they may have committed. You still have to respect the person, you know, and serve. You are the service of the community, at the service of the nation, you know, so you have to behave properly.
The church leader said he believes that the nation's police are in need of prayers. He said it would be helpful if the force receives positive encouragement from the masses to rethink the manner in which they carry out their services, including the way they deal with persons who have committed crimes, no matter how serious the offense.
To be a police person, to be a person protecting law and order in society is not easy, because, you know, people too can make it hard for the police to do their work, you know. So, yeah, a new image of the police wouldn't do us any harm today. In fact, it would be a positive step in the right direction for the future. But right here, we need reform. As much as in America, they need reform, radical reform over there, I think we need radical reform here too. And it has to start with the training of the police folks, you know, men and women, and also the whole system, like if you want to say the leadership within the police force, and like, you know, how do those at the top kind of command, and how do they lead, and how do they form, you know, their police support groups, you know, the men and women in the police force.
Archbishop Rivas remembered his boyhood days when the police were seen as respectable people in society, and they acted accordingly, earning the respect of the people which they served. He said if police today were to follow the same formula of actual servitude, then the respect from the people of the nation would follow.
See, what has happened is that we live in a world of, there's so much corruption, and the police have opened themselves to the corruption that they behave now accordingly, you know, and which is a bad name to get, you know, and yeah, maybe they're protecting the wrong people. So, you know, they need to re-understand or rethink. They need to rethink their call, what their call is. What is their vocation? What is the vocation of a policeman? What is the vocation of a policewoman in our society? And how do they fulfill this vocation in the society, which is a call to protect and serve?
Archbishop Rivas stressed on the fact that he knows of amazing officers of the force, and that he knows the good apples make up the majority. However, he said the bad ones stand to spoil the whole bunch if there is no reform and proper training. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
With the ongoing tensions surrounding recent public protests and the role of the police force, who on both occasions denied permission for said protests, the Hot 7 team took to the streets to find out whether you think the police force's stance is being politically motivated, as has been expressed by some critics, or is the police acting out of genuine concern for the masses? Here is what you had to say.
A Black Lives Matter protest and around the island motorcade. What do these two events have in common? Well, they were both denied permission from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Now, this raised two questions. Why? And who gave the orders? Well, was it politically motivated or was it for the good of the people? Well, we decided to ask you, the members of the public, whether you think there is too much political interference in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Here's what you had to say.
They will always have that, You understand? No matter whichever party, they will always have that because everybody are friends, right?
It is. It's all what I see is politics. When the time that happened, I see it's a politics game. It is. All that is politics. The election coming. As I said, I want to tell the people of St. Lucia, don't put politics. Because right now I have a big project done by my home. I have to do it. I have to take care of the politics to see the project I'm doing. Clean and come, and I don't get nothing from government.
You talk right. Yes, absolutely right. Yes.
Thank you.
Everybody have the choice. If the politicians tell them what to do, they must be on the politician's side. So it's a matter of everybody just looking at what exactly going on. If they are right, if they're doing the right job as police officers, and the politicians themselves helping St. Lucia to be a better place that they don't have no, what you might say, intense kind of characteristics of disorder. But the police seem to be on vacation, right? Every police on vacation, I don't see no police.
Yes. Because the police make up of the people, but government should be out of the political. The police should be out of political affiliation, because the police is there to serve the people, not for the government. It's for the people, and the people is the police. That's all I have to say.
Well, you've heard what they think on the matter. Want a chance to share your opinion? Join us next time when you can have your say. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
As local hotels gear up for the resumption of services, some welcoming guests as soon as early July, the Chief Executive Officer of the St. Lucia Hospitality and Tourism Association, Norani Aziz, has expressed that the prevailing circumstances for many properties will make their operations unprofitable. However, he believes that it is necessary to begin fueling the tourism industry. Aziz, noting the success currently being experienced by other islands in the region, says St. Lucia needs to get back into the practice of competitive tourism. Jacques Wooding reports.
In a recent edition of Hot 7 TV's The Hot Seat, host Crystal Riviere pressed Chief Executive Officer of the St. Lucia Hospitality and Tourism Association, Norani Aziz, on the adversities which could face hotels as tourism activity resumes. Aziz admitted that there are no guarantees that tourists will be flooding into St. Lucia come July. He underscored that the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted economies globally, leaving billions out of work, and banks less likely to approve leisure loans. However, he says the SLHTA membership understands that it is paramount to begin fueling the tourism sector once more if St. Lucia is to remain competitive on the market. Aziz says this will definitely take a financial toll on operating properties.
It's almost baffling and borders on unbelievable that there is a demand for the destination, that there is an interest in traveling to St. Lucia, that certain resorts believe that if we were to open today, that they can perhaps do 15 to 20% occupancy levels. It is not the best. It will not allow you to break even. You'll be operating at a loss, but at least you would have started the tourism engine moving, and then we can then start to move from strength to strength.
He believes it is notable that though the airport has been operating since early June, there has been little demand to fly into the island. This has led the SLHTA to investigate other possible factors impacting travel at this time. The CEO says hotels must be creative when marketing packages to mid-pandemic travelers.
When we look at other destinations that have opened, then we see very, very encouraging arrival and occupancy levels. Some properties who have reported these stats have presence in those markets as well. It makes one curious as to how long must we continue to languish in uncertainty while others are benefiting.
Aziz believes that St. Lucia can experience the success seen in other territories if things are addressed in the correct manner. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
St. Lucia will pay its final respects to the iconic Joyce Auguste on the 24th of June 2020. The announcement of an official funeral for Auguste came from the Minister for Culture, Fortuna Belrose. Auguste passed away on Thursday, the 21st of May 2020 at her home. She was a St. Lucian musician and leader of the Uanora Voices, which became a major popular folk band in the 1970s. She is noted as the pioneer of the Festival of Carols. Auguste also worked as a music supervisor for the St. Lucia school system and introduced folk music into the school curriculum. In 2017, she was awarded the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, an OBE.
Well, the government of St. Lucia, through the Cabinet of Ministers, has confirmed that she would get an official funeral. Of course, she was an iconic St. Lucian cultural icon. And of course, we have been meeting with her family members. We had a preliminary meeting, but I know there's a small team that has been established comprising family, Ministry of External Affairs, my office of the Prime Minister. There's a team meeting to fine-tune the arrangements for a funeral, which is actually set for the 24th of June. Details on that, of course, will come through the public the public programming that we do. Mm-hmm. But Joyce will be celebrated, in an official funeral.
Auguste was also well known for her sporting prowess in the netball arena. In 1969, she received the award for Sportswoman of the Year, and in 2000, she was named in an OAS list of outstanding women of the 20th century and was inducted into the Hall of Fame for both sports and music. She passed away at the age of 76. A Castries vendor has posed questions to the CCC following an incident where she believes monies were wrongfully collected from fellow vendors. Our cameras sought response from the CCC market manager, who explained that the misunderstanding had arisen from adjustments made to the payment procedures enforced at the Castries market since renovations had been completed. Shaka Wooding has more.
An incident at the Castries market has led one vendor to question the structure of booth rental payments currently being enforced by the CCC. The vendor in question says her concerns were sparked after observing a situation which confronted a fellow vendor when a daily payment was requested after a weekly payment was already made on the same booth.
I understand if somebody have a booth and the person paying the booth the whole week. If somebody come and the person tell the person sell on the booth, the person self have to pay on the booth if the person paying the whole week. I can understand that. So if they want the person to pay, how the person could pay $3 and the person paying the whole week already? Right? And it's two people on the booth, the pop of the person have to pay the same $3. That's unfair.
When these concerns were posed to CCC market manager Gemma Thomas, she explained that a new structure of payment collection is being observed at the market. According to Thomas, persons do not necessarily rent booths, but instead pay for their daily operations. Therefore, if a person is operating from a booth that is not registered to their name, they are required to submit personal payment for their operations at the market.
Whosoever has the booth in their name, they pay their weekly rent. However, if somebody uses the youth in the absence of the tenant or the whoever, they are supposed to pay for coming to vend, especially if they come with their own things. Everybody is liable to pay in the dues on a daily basis.
She urges vendors to become a bit more familiar with the regulations of the new market location. Jacka Wooding, Hot 7 News.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.